Hi everybody, it's Maha here, and we are in lockdown again here in New South Wales, Australia. The whole of the state is in lockdown, and I thought I'd just come on because I haven't done a live for a while. So while we're in this lockdown, in some ways it's only a week, but it actually gives me personally just time to calm and chill and think a little bit more clearly with, what's going on in the world, the work that I do in the world as the founder of Embody Birth for the last 25 years, sharing my work all over the world now globally, counselling women all over the world, which has been amazing. And, today I was thinking about physiological birth, and I've been doing a lot of podcasts and interviews. And what kind of comes up is this understanding of what physiological birth gives us as women and why it is so valuable and why it's so important that if we can and we are supported and we understand the gifts of physiological birth, why that is a place that can raise consciousness for humanity. And we know a lot about healing modalities in the world. There are many, many healing modalities that take us into the unconscious part of the brain or the mind or whatever, wherever that lives, the unconscious, memories, things that have come from our lineage that we've carried from our family line. Things that happened to us, implicit memory before we actually remember, before we were the age of 2 or 3. So the unconscious gives us a place to deeply excavate into those places where we need to perhaps heal from our family line, our maternal line, our own personal experiences in life. So what happens is when we are able to go into physiological birth, we get to go into the underground, into the underworld of physiological birth, or the unconscious, or the primal part of our brain, which is where we think the unconscious lives, the amygdala, the memories. All of those things, we go deep, deep, deep down, 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 and we are supported by our hormones. And this is really important. So we're not just going and excavating deep, deep down into the unconscious, into that rawness, without being cushioned by the beautiful hormones of labor, the endorphins and the oxytocin. So we might be going into a difficult place through birth, into that spiritual cavern, to excavate deeply into the world or the underworld of the unconscious. But when we are supported by the hormones and the natural endorphins, and we are meant to have these, we are meant to feel these on this deep primal level, then we can feel safe in going into these places that physiological birth opens for us, this portal that opens. And so the main problem is that those who are supporting us in birth don't understand this excavation that women are meant to go to through the birth process in order to, as I said before, to alchemize the unconscious for healing. And it's not just our own personal healing, it's healing on a planetary Earth consciousness level. And this is the work that I've been doing in Embody Birth for 25 years. And it became very, very clear to me in my daughter's birth when I birthed her at home at 46, my third child. And I knew that I wasn't going to do this again. And I had that deep understanding because I'd had two, as nature intended, completely physiological births with my sons. So I knew the power and depth of birth. And this time, as I say in Embody Birth, I wanted to take that 360-degree vision of the whole experience. What's in front of me? What's behind me? What's to the side of me? And what's inside of me that needs to be revealed and shared to the world as a gift that I garner through the way I birth in this physiological space. So once we get to experience that transcendence, and you hear women often talk about when they've had a physiological birth, I went to an otherworldly place. I was in another world. It was incredible. I transformed. And that's what they're talking about. They're talking about having gone to the underworld, into the underground, to find the seeds of the jewels of the gifts of transcendence that we then gift the world with. This kind of consciousness. So we can be physically birthing our babies, but we are birthing a new humanity, a new earth. And as my wonderful friend Samantha from Birthing in New Earth says, that the way we birth this new earth is through the collaboration of the collective, whether it's through physical birth or birthing a new project, a creative idea, doing business in a new way. This is the power of the female initiation of birthing. When we can physiologically birth, which means I'm not interfered with. Nobody is doing anything to me. And I'm never talking about unnecessary intervention. I'm talking about when everything is going beautifully. Yeah? Even if there's a stop-start in labor. And when you come and do my embody birth training, you begin to understand that those stop-starts that are self-initiated, we could say, they are parts of our healing. They are the places that we heal in the birthing process. So what happens is these get interfered with. So we are excavating into the underground and we come across these layers and we come across our own internal obstacles that we need to face, the parts of ourselves. And we need those around us in the environment to support us in that. And if we are supported, then we can go down into the next layer. Down, down, down. With our baby. So our baby is experiencing this evolution of consciousness from our family line, from our personal experiences. Yeah. So our baby gets to experience this with us as mothers. And that creates a powerful receivership into the world where it's okay to go into places that might be... Not sure what happened there. So our babies go into these places with us. And they know then that in fear, there is an opening, there is comfort. My mother is able to go into these places, supported in safety and security. So I am safe and I am secure. Yeah. So when we have interference in this journey through this underworld excavation, baby doesn't feel safe because the visceral feeling of not feeling safe, then through the hormonal output of adrenaline, yeah, then we lose that connection as a mother to the endorphins and the oxytocin. We are releasing adrenaline and baby feels that too as an anxiety through their own chemical, biological makeup as they journey with mother. So our babies also miss out on this, as I said before, evolution with mum. So, physiological birth isn't just about, I'm not having drugs and I'm not, being interfered with. There's a much deeper aspect to it. These are just the first stages into the gateway and then into that underground world of rebirth and recalibration and alchemization of the deeper experience and then the unconscious world. And also we go down into the brain waves of theta and delta. And we know that that's where the creativity of humanity, spiritual humanity lives, is where we reimagine a new consciousness. And that is what we are also birthing in the world when we give birth in a physiological sense. So I really think it's important that we understand that birth is a spiritual practice. And as I've said, I'm the founder of Embody Birth and Belly Dance Birth for 25 years. I've birthed 3 babies as nature intended, the last at home at 46. And I've been down, down, down into these places of consciousness raising through birth. And what upsets me so much is 95% of women who give birth on this planet today, 300,000 births, most women are denied and robbed of this absolutely transcendent experience that birth gives us, this awakening that happens to us through this ceremonial rite of passage, this initiation into new consciousness. And this is what I've tried to impart in my work in embodied birth. And until we understand birth from this value, from this sacred lens, we are not going to change consciousness on this planet into the empathy, the compassion, the deep love for humanity. Because when I birth my baby through physiological pathways, I am connected to all the women who have come before me and all the women who will come after me. My baby is your baby. Your baby is my baby in the true essence of humane living and consciousness and conscious living. We're not separated. We're not severed. This is what the society wants, to bring separation and severance and disconnection. But when we give birth through these physiological pathways, we know as women that there is no separation, that we are united in the heart, in love. And I want to tell all of you who are birth professionals and working with women, this is at the heart of why I do, and I hope you do, what we all do. Because it is through love that we change the trajectory of humanity. And physiological birth can do this for all of humanity, for all mothers and babies, parents, people who birth, everyone. We have to keep in our hearts that physiological birth, when we can change consciousness, we don't rob mothers and babies of this incredible experience. So that's what I wanted to impart today, because it is so important to me as a birth educator and mentor of the past 25 years to keep this message strong, that birth is a modality of deep healing and deep transformation. And, you know, what we are seeing in the world now, we are being led by mad people. And I want us to come back as women to the strength of demanding that you give birth in that safety, in that security, in that dignity, and in that place of higher consciousness. And we could change the world in a generation if women could do this. Find that power that exists within you. Don't hand your power over. Yeah? That power of, you know, the freedom in birth lies within all of us. So, you know, I'm 60 next year, and I will just keep on going in this realm. And because I've lived it and because I've experienced it, I know what is possible. And many of you know in embodied birth, we always talk about what is possible, not what's impossible. Yeah? Out there, they're always looking for the impossibility. You can't, you won't, it won't happen, you know. Let's stop looking at impossibility in birth. What is possible? And I'm telling you, when we can birth in numbers, in physiological birth, we change humanity. My baby is your baby. Your baby is my baby. All babies are born on womb country. What is the country that your baby is born through and into? Yeah, so whatever is on the inside is reflected and mirrored to us on the outside. Stop robbing women of this incredible gift to birth in their highest power and potential. And I believe that we need to look at birth in this regard first and foremost, starting from conception, in utero, the way we birth the way we treat mothers and babies, the way we are received and welcomed as humans. Yeah? What does this look and feel like? This is the imprint for what love looks and feels like. And when you come and do my training, I will explain this in a much deeper sense of why it's so important and why what we are seeing in the world is reflected back to the way in which we have or have not welcomed babies into the world. These imprints last a lifetime. Yeah, we have to bring consciousness to birth, and physiological birth and protecting physiological birth is a really important place for us to be. So, yeah, I don't know what else I can say about that except stop robbing women and babies of this experience. It is vital if we want to change the trajectory of humanity. So I am going to potentially do a few more lives while I'm in this lockdown this week. And if you're interested in my embodied birth certification training, please get in touch. In October, I will be doing my virtual training live. And it is in 2 parts, my online birth preparation program, a very deep dive into birth preparation, and my virtual online training. And then you'll be able to, be an official educator of embodied birth and belly dance birth and take this kind of birth education into the world. It is needed more than ever. And mothers, we need to rise up in our strength, protect our children, hold on to our children. Yeah, they are your children. They're not owned by anyone. I mean, we don't even own our children. So why are we handing that power over? And physiological birth cements this in our hearts. We understand that our children are the legacy that we leave in the world. Yeah? What is that legacy that you are leaving to the world in the form of your children? Yeah? So I implore you all to really, really think deeply about this subject and support physiological birth whenever we can. So sending lots of love and namaste to everyone. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Get in touch if you need me. Lots of love. Ciao.